started selling real estate. And I sold most of it to myself. I bought 5 houses. And we bought one for Julie. And she was a beautician. She had her beauty shop. But it was kind of difficult getting the financing for her. Being self-employed and not having a very long track record. But they finally figured out a way. So we bought her a nice, cute little house. And then there was a deli called the Firehouse Deli for sale down in town. The reason it was called the Firehouse, it was an old firehouse. It had a pole where the firemen slept upstairs and they could slide down this pole and drive their vehicles out the front door where this deli now was. So we went in partners with the Sanders family. We both had large families, and we figured this would be a good place for the kids to work. So Charlene worked there, Lori worked there, and David really worked there. And David and Grandma did lots of catering for weddings, and we catered one deal for the church had a youth conference down at the Oakland Interstate Center, and we made lunch for like 2,400 kids. And we did the same thing at the Mormon Center at Sacramento. So we were pretty busy. What else did? Oh, and then I got a job with the church also, as in the maintenance department. And we cleaned the churches and we refurnished the gym floors, painted all the halls and rooms, fences, kept up the landscaping. Must have been something else. What else did we do? We were pretty busy. And then, for about the last 20 years, we've kind of been retired, and we don't do too much. Now we don't do anything.
What about, let's talk about early childhood. Want to tell me about your siblings?
Well, my parents were Ted and Zola Carlson, and I was born in 1928 in Salem, Utah. And
Christmas Day.
on Christmas Day, eventually had 6 other brothers and 1 sister. And my dad didn't believe in giving these kids money, spending money, but he would say, well, there's a truck or there's a tractor, go out and cut people's hay or haul gravel or whatever. I had 3 friends, and I'd always go pick them up and would go load up gravel and stuff and sell it to people that needed gravel and the other kind of stuff. And then when I was in 8th or 9th grade, my family moved to New Mexico. My dad bought a big sheep ranch out there. And I got there in about 1943. Of course, World War II was going on. And all the older guys that joined the service. And I got on the basketball team, and I played basketball, football, and track. And since the older senior and junior guys, a lot of them had gone to merchant marine and stuff, there was no trouble getting dates. There's a real shortage of men. I guess the boys would be a better term. I had a girlfriend, her name was Bobby Hubbard. And she sold tickets at the movie theater. And my friend Ken Bandy and I, we swept the movie theater, cleaned it out after the movies. And we got a little bit of money, and we got all the popcorn and all the free movies we could attend. So since my girlfriend got in free, I got in free, we saw a lot of movies. And since Bobby had to be there early to sell tickets, hardly ever did I ever pick her up at her house. In fact, never. So one night there was a special dance, and of course the guys like to stand around and talk about sports. When I finally got around to dancing with her, she says, "Buddy, we're through together. We're no longer boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend." I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "Well, you've never come to pick me up at my house. You just take me for granted." Well, I said, "Well, I meet you at the theater where you work. I don't need to come to your house." She said, "Well, buddy, we're through." So that was it for that romance. It lasted for a couple of years. She never would let me kiss her. Glenda says, "Well, I wouldn't either." So after graduation, a little while, I got called on a mission to Old Mexico. And didn't know much what I was getting into. The missions at that time in a foreign country was for 30 months. There wasn't any MTC as such. They sent you to Salt Lake, and there they give you 1 or 2 days of instruction and sent you on your mission. So we went by train all the way clear to Mexico City. And they says, when you get there, don't take your eyes off of your luggage, or it will be stolen. And you won't have any clothes or anything to wear, except what you're wearing. So when we landed there, there were a bunch of elders there, and they says, "Well, we're here to pick you up and all your stuff and take you to the mission home. And don't worry about your luggage. We'll load it up onto this vehicle and take it for you. And you come over here and get in this vehicle and we'll take you." So when we got to the mission home, they says, "Well, we got bad news. When we went to get the vehicle to load your luggage up, it was all gone." And we said, "Oh, well, that was your fault. You told us to take care of it." And then pretty soon they said, "Well, this is a joke. We're just teasing." So then my first assignment was to Ciudad Victoria in the northern part of Mexico. And it was a brand new area, and there weren't any buildings to meet in, so the mission president said, "Well, go find a building that you can convert into a meeting house." So we found this place. All the buildings there are right on the sidewalk. You have the sidewalk and the building right there. There's no in-between space, no lawn or nothing. So as you walked in the front door, there was this large room. Actually, it was 2 rooms. So we figured if we took the partition out between those 2 rooms, it would make a place for a meeting room. So we did that, and then we went to a carpenter shop and had a bunch of benches made and a pulpit. And we didn't have any music or anything. And then in the back there was quarters for where we lived. So I think we had like six elders there. And since the church paid for the rent for the chapel there, and the 6 elders, the rent per missionary was only like $1.25 a month. So I was there for like 11 months. In the first year, I didn't spend $200. It was like $160 for the whole time. Of course, food was quite cheap. So then my next assignment was Pachuca Hidalgo. They had a nice chapel, and they have missionary quarters right in the compound. And that rent went up all the way to $5 a month. So for the first year and a half, I got by pretty cheaply. And my parents were kind of struggling financially. It's a good thing because they didn't have to send much money. And then the Aztec branch got together and they started to help out, and they started sending me $50 a month. So I bought new clothes and a whole bunch of stuff, lots of souvenirs. Bought a new tailor-made suit to come home in. Lots of good experiences there, a lot of out in the country stuff. The church was quite small, and the Mexican mission covered all of Mexico and all of Central America. Now there must be 50 missions in that same area. I'm sure over a million to 2 million members there now. There's like 3,500 in all that country when I was there. So we were the last place we were teaching English in the high school, get acquainted with people, and the students wanted to have a little party for our going away. So I went in the mission home and I said, the high school kids want to give us a party, can I get released? And they said, no, you go back and have the party and we'll release you. That's the wisdom of the mission presidency people. So we had our party and I got released. The second counselor in the mission presidency was coming back to the States. And he says, Elder Carlson, do you want to ride up to the border with me? And then you can catch a bus or a train home. So when I landed in Aztec, New Mexico, where I live, I went down to the post office and sat there on my truck. Didn't have any way to call my parents. Finding this lady, her name was Josie. She wasn't a member of the church, but she was a friend of our family. And she says, you look lost. I said, yeah, I've been gone for 30 months and I'm looking for a ride out to my parents' ranch. She said, oh, I'll take you. So I showed up and nobody knew I was coming. No cell phones and stuff like they have today.
Well, tell of your connection with Taiwan
And then, of course, you had to be deferred because the Korean War was on. So I went down to Farmington to my draft board and I said, I have to check in within 30 days of my mission. I'm here checking in. And I said, where do I stand in the draft? And they said, well, we've called all the guys for this month. And they checked the roster and said, but you'll be first next month to be drafted. Be a foot soldier going to Korea. I said, what kind of deferments do you have? And he said, well, you can be 4F. That means you're physically disqualified. He says, you don't look like you qualify for that. Or you can be enrolled in an ROTC program in college. So I went home and packed my bags and got on the bus and headed for Provo. At that time, there was over 3,000 people in the ROTC at BYU. That interview, Grandma, you wore me out.